He spent 8 storied seasons with the Patriots, cementing his place in the team's Hall of Fame. James White was the hero of Super Bowl 51, setting records for both receptions and points. Nicknamed SweetFeet because of his fancy footwork and speed, and also his love of sneakers. We're here at the Converse headquarters in Boston, Massachusetts, where James is going to get to customize his own set of kicks. If you look back at the recent 20-year Patriots dynasty, one hallmark of those teams was having a third down running back as primary receiver. Kevin Falk started the tradition, followed by Danny Woodhead and Shane Vereen. But no one had more memorable moments in big games like James White did. White was a 4th-round pick out of Wisconsin in 2014, but just like so many Patriots, he had to wait for his chance.
OTAs and training camp, I did a fairly good job, but at the end of the day, the coaches didn't feel like I was necessarily ready enough to play for that entire season for the most part. I played in 3 games, so it didn't go necessarily, picture perfect and all that, but I think that year for me helped, maybe become a little bit more hungry in a sense, and I saw what it took. We won a Super Bowl that year. And
I was just going to say, it's easy to be hungry when you're watching this team that you're inactive for, but you're watching them win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, you're watching them win a Super Bowl, but obviously I felt a part of the team, but as a player, as a competitor, you want to be out there playing with your team. So coming into that next season, I was hungry, and I wanted to put my best foot forward so they could see what I could do, to see how I could contribute and help my team win football games.
Well, that next season, you certainly put yourself on the map a little bit. Talk about your second year with the team.
My second year, even coming into that year, the first game of the year, we played the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think I played like 1 snap the entire game. It was to take a knee at halftime. So not much change really for the first few weeks. Dion Lewis is a great player, one of my good friends. He had a huge season that year, and he unfortunately ended up getting hurt, and that's kind of how I got my opportunity to play. I just wanted to continue to build on my role, and I think, like I said, we all found our roles within the team, and it made it so much fun.
That 2016 season, you certainly did have a breakout year for you. I think you were one of only 4 running backs with over 500 receiving yards. Do you remember what kind of exciting year that was for you? And we'll get to the Super Bowl in a minute, because that was ridiculous.
Like I said, it was just really, really fun for me. Each year I felt like I carved out a little bit more and more of a role, and just showing the coaches I could do a little bit more than the year before. And I wanted to be one of those players that my coaches could rely on, whether it was offense, special teams, running the football, catching the football, blocking. I wanted to show I was reliable at all those things, and become a leader as well.
All right, so now let's get on to the magical Super Bowl 51, where, your time to shine. You shined all season, but just Super Bowl 51, what was your mentality going into that game?
Watching that game in 2014 and seeing how they won, and the amount of preparation and all the hard work all season that went into it, I wanted to be a part of that. And I said if I ever got my opportunity to play in a Super Bowl, I was going to do whatever it took to help my team win. Obviously, we weren't thinking we are going to be down 28-3 and things of that nature. Like going into halftime, like, man, I've been waiting for this moment, and this is how we're going to go out. We're down by a lot of points.
25.
I was, considered a pass-catching running back, so we threw the ball a lot, pretty much the entire game. So that resulted in me being on the field a lot. So for myself, I wanted to be a viable option for Tom if he happened to look my way. If the ball came my way, I wanted to make plays, and the ball just kept coming. And
it did keep coming. The 2-yard touchdown one to win it in overtime. Did you know it was going to be you ahead of time?
I knew in the huddle when they called the play.
Right.
I knew the ball was going to be coming to me. I was exhausted at that point of the game, like in overtime. That's probably the most tired I've ever been on the field.
You've already done a lot, yeah.
That's the most tired I've ever been on the football field. I remember it was like the play before I jogged off the field. When Garrett Blount was coming to the huddle, I was just like, go win the game for us. Because I was thinking we were going to hand the ball off to him to go win it. I think we threw a pass to Martellus Bennett, like that play. I remember just coming back on the field. I was still tired, but they called the play. I was just like, I got to find a way to get in the end zone, this play to end the game. And the Falcons actually probably defended the play, a lot better than we expected them to, but I broke a couple tackles and just kept fighting and kept pushing and found a way in the end zone.
You had 3 touchdowns, the 2-point conversion. You broke records for receptions with 14 and points with 20. You must have been running on empty.
I was definitely running on fumes, and at the time, you definitely don't think about all those things, the stats and all things of that nature. I just knew I scored a touchdown to win the football game.
Right.
And like I said, I was running all around. I didn't even know they were reviewing the play at the time. I was celebrating with my teammates, and then like after the fact, like watching like the replays and stuff on TV afterwards, seeing like they were reviewing the plays to see how close it was. It was a lot closer than what I pictured it in my mind. But for me, I knew I was still in the end zone.
Yeah,
but,
you know.
like, I blacked out like everything. Like there was no fans in there. I was just running around all by myself. Then LeGarrette Blount ran over and tackled me. It's just kind of a surreal feeling, and just what you work all year long for. And like I said, it was awesome.
But James wasn't done having great moments or Super Bowl victories. We'll have more when we come back, and then later on Outside the Fame, we'll visit Converse by You, where SweetFeet gets to design his own sweet sneakers. This episode of Outside the Fame is brought to you by Mafre Insurance. Made for real life. What matters to you is what we're made for. Super Bowl 51 might have been the pinnacle of James White's career, but he wasn't through piling up big numbers or big wins. In 2018, White had his best year yet with 87 receptions for 751 yards and 7 touchdowns, as the Patriots made their third straight trip to the Super Bowl.
It was a low-scoring game. It was a defensive game, but during that entire season, like I said, I wanted to help my team win. Like Sony Michel had a big part of that game. Him and Rex Burkhead, they were the guys, and they played a huge part in that. It was fun to watch those guys impact the game. Rex Burkhead kind of closing it out at the end, so that was huge. And Julian had a big game as well. He's a Super Bowl MVP for that one. So each game, there's always somebody that's going to have a little bit more of an impact on different ways of winning.
When you look back at your 8 years with the Patriots, so what kind of, besides Super Bowl 51, because we all know that stands out, what stands out for you personally?
Just the relationships that I built and the community work that you try and do around the, the state of Massachusetts and all of New England. Getting to know the fans, relationships that you build with your teammates and their families. That stuff that will last forever. I think that's what's most important.
And speaking of your relationships, 2020 season was a very difficult one for you. In week 3, your parents got into a major car accident. You unfortunately lost your father. And I would love to hear the update on your mom and how things are going. And I can't even imagine what that was like. I know you talk about your teammates and how they were brothers for you, and they certainly made it known when you were going through that tough time that they were with you the whole time.
Yeah, most definitely. That was definitely the hardest time in my life, definitely for sure. And to have the support from my teammates, my coaches, family, friends, my wife, my kids. It was definitely everything that I needed for sure during that time. To be sitting in the hospital with my mom was definitely a hard thing for sure, to see her battling, but she's a fighter. And like I said, just to be able to sit by her during that time, and for Coach Belichick and the rest of the team, for them to allow me to have that time away to be with my family was definitely something that I needed. And like I said, they always checked in on me, even throughout the season, after the season, just to see how I was doing, how my mom was doing. It was definitely something that I'll never forget and something that I'm forever grateful for. But my mom's doing a lot better now. She's living with her mom. She's kind of getting back into her routine a little bit. She had just retired probably the year before, everything that happened. But she's doing great. And like I said, she comes to visit, her grandkids, her wild grandkids that I have. And like I said, they wear her out. They run her pockets. They make her buy all types of things for her. We just came from Disney a few weeks ago with my mom and my grandma, so they had a lot of fun there, but she's doing a lot better. More with James White after the break on Outside the Fame. And later, it's Converse by You, where you can customize your own Chuck Taylor high tops. I am now joined by Senior Vice President Andrea Zamitis from Mafre Insurance, and what a view we have today. It's a nice overcast, so we can see the beautiful Zakim Bridge. Love it.
Strong and proud.
And we're here to talk about Mafre's, just what they do that's outside of insurance. They do a lot of stuff. They're in the community all the time. But first I want you to talk about Mafre's priorities as a company.
Absolutely. So I think obviously first and foremost, our top priority is really taking care of our customers in their time of need. You know, we take insurance incredibly seriously at Mafre, and it's often, you know, our customers are needing us during times when they've experienced an upsetting or even traumatic event of being in a car accident, having bodily injuries to themselves, their loved ones, others, damage to their home or valuables that they cherish and worked so hard to build. And so we really feel passionately that at that point, we must step in and kind of carry them through their personal storm and help put their lives back together again. And then outside of running the daily insurance business, the work of our Fundación Mafre is really where our humanitarian work is in full force. We have a whole host of humanitarian efforts we do throughout the world, here locally in New England and really all of the countries that we operate in, which are over 30 countries, to help improve the lives and societies of the communities which we serve.
That's a great transition. What about the communities that you do serve? Tell us where they are, all the locations.
Particularly in Massachusetts, it's the best kept secret that we are the largest personal lines insurer in Massachusetts by a wide, wide margin. And we're very proud to say and think it's very important to get the word out that we protect more Massachusetts drivers and residents than any carrier in the country. We've been doing it for over 50 years. We have a great deal of experience and excellent agents and partners that we work with to get the job done.
I just wanted you to talk about, Andrea, how people, if they want to get involved in Mafre, because they have all these great things going on and they really have the personal touch for the people in the United States and on other places as well, but how can they get in touch with Mafre and reach out and find out if it's a great company for them too?
Absolutely. I mean, and I would say please reach out for, obviously, if you're considering your insurance and want to be a customer, we will take care of you like family, but also employees and talent, you know, is something that we're really looking for, and it's a wonderful place to work. And then obviously volunteer efforts. You don't have to be an employee to help us with our mission at Mafre. We accept everyone. So you can reach out to us at mafreinsurance.com and learn a lot more information there.
For 7 seasons, James White served as the Patriots' all-purpose back, being relatively healthy through it all. But in 2021, with a new rookie quarterback leading the team, it all came to a halt for White in Week 3.
You know, that season I was starting to kind of get in a rhythm there, and the first or second quarter of the game that happened, I didn't know what exactly happened. I just knew I couldn't stand up. And going to the hospital, I know the doctors were saying, you may not need surgery, you may need surgery. They ended up saying I didn't need it. For myself, I always prided myself on being available for my team, and that was another hard thing that I went through for sure. And definitely one of the toughest injuries. I know like Bo Jackson had a similar one, Tua from the Dolphins had a similar injury. And it's definitely a tough one. And for myself, the hardest thing for me was not being kind of available for my kids and for my wife. I didn't necessarily know what I was gonna do after the injury. You know, sitting there with the crutches on and staples in my hip, it's kind of hard to imagine even walking again.
Right, never mind coming back and playing
to play football.
Top level, yeah.
But like as the weeks went on, I started to build a little bit more confidence with the rehab and everything. And Coach Belichick called me during free agency and asked whether I was planning on playing football again. I was like, yes. I felt pretty confident in my ability to get back out there on the field. So I re-signed back, came during OTAs and training camp, and things just weren't feeling quite, how I was accustomed to.
I mean, you set a high standard for yourself,
accustomed to moving around. Like after a hard week of workouts, it was kind of hard for me to walk and things of that nature, and I hadn't even been tackled or done anything like that, so it's hard for me to imagine actually getting out there on the football field and being the player that I was accustomed to being. So I made a decision to retire without having to put my body through any more of that stress and pain, and just kind of let my hip recover on its own and just do a little bit of rehab. And I feel pretty good now, a lot better than what I did.
I think they can use you. I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty sure the Patriots might have a spot for James White.
Never know.
You never know. I've seen crazier things happen. I've seen people retire twice and come back again, and yeah.
You never know.
I mean, it had to be a pretty tough decision to make, though.
I definitely felt like I had at least a few more years left in me.
Of course you did, yeah.
Never would imagine, myself retiring into year 8. But like I said, I thought it was the best decision at the time for me, just to allow my body to heal. And like I said, you only have one body. And
Take care of it.
My kids have a lot of energy, so I want to be able to chase them around and be able to play around with them when I get older.
What do you miss most about the game?
It's definitely the teammates, the locker room, you know, the coaches building that relationship, building that team chemistry, you know, from OTAs to training camp throughout the entire year. The competition as well. There's never ever going to be anything like stepping on the football field with your teammates after that long week of practice and preparation. Just that feeling of being out there and putting the work in and trying to get wins for your team, that's kind of what you miss the most. Definitely been enjoying this, you know, this past year and a half, whatever it's been, that I've been able to be home a lot more than what I've been in the past few years. But, you know, kind of enjoy the role of being a dad and things of that nature, because not everybody gets to be at home with their kids as much as I have been. Obviously, it's going to come to an end at some point once
once you go into coaching or
go
get back
into
on the
whatever,
field or whatever, you know.
Whatever happens
once
to be.
the crafts call you and say, James, we have a spot for you. Can we talk about the nickname, SweetFeet, where it came from, how and why, and all that good stuff?
The way it came about was from my high school creative writing teacher, Mr. Aloma. He actually used it in our senior skit. And I didn't necessarily use the nickname at the time, throughout college or anything.
Oh, even not at Wisconsin?
Not at Wisconsin or anything. Once I got to the NFL, my agency was saying I need to change my Twitter handle name. I don't even remember what it was at the time, but they said to like come up with something a little bit more creative and whatnot. So I changed it to SweetFeet on Instagram and SweetFeet like _white on Twitter, and everybody happened to like it. And you know, once I got into the Patriot facility, you know, Tom started to call me eventually. Josh McDaniels started to call me.
So I'm surprised they didn't razz you at all, because sometimes you get a little like, oh, SweetFeet, you better back that up.
Yeah, it fit
you
me
did
well.
back it up.
You
totally backed it up, yeah.
As far as on the field and off the field, because I love shoes as well, so that's kind of how it came about.
And we'll get to that love of footwear when we return on Outside the Fame. Stay with us as we design our own kicks next. We all know James White had some of the sweetest feet ever to wear a Patriots uniform. He also owns countless pairs of sneakers. But how is he as a designer? At Converse by You experience area, you can customize your own kicks, so we gave it a shot. You got some lilac, red. I mean, we got the Patriots colors like boom, 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 right in a row.
I think I may go with the high top browns.
Okay.
You like low tops, high tops?
So I'm kind of a high top girl. I might go with the classic white.
All right.
All right.
Never go wrong with those.
All right, well, we got our sneakers now. Now we have to head over to our friend Carl and tell him what sizes we need, which is not too far off from each other.
It's not, surprisingly.
Hey, homies.
Hey, Carl.
We got our shoes.
All right, Carl. I will be a size 7.
Okay.
Okay?
9.5 for me.
All right, 2 seconds. Let me see what I got.
Okay,
All right.
great. These are sweet.
I got your shoes.
Great.
7, 9.5. All right. You want to try them on?
Yes. You know why you picked brown. You have brown pants on. I should have went black. These are good. I like these.
Feel good?
These feel good.
I'll walk you through and set you up, and then I will let you customize.
There were all kinds of designs to choose from.
The camo's really cool. We can make it bigger, we can make it smaller. If you click on the graphic, I'll give you a few different color options.
Wow. Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet. The blue's pretty sweet. I like that.
Like the blue, right?
That's not gonna look good on the brown. I gotta be honest with you.
One of our favorites.
We got red too.
And see, if you go with the green, it kind of makes it seem like they're Celtics-like. I do like the green. Yeah, I like the green. So it's okay, Carl, like that?
I'll take it from there, yep.
Okay.
Let's see what I'm gonna do.
Oh, you like the camo, right?
Let's go with the camo. Goes
Oh,
perfect.
you like
goes perfect
the
with the brown.
It does go with the brown.
How do I go? Text right here. Do I get to pick where it goes?
Yeah, exactly.
Would I be able to put it on the heel at all, or is that possible?
So the closest thing I can do
Right up the backside.
is crank it to the side. If you like that design, we can then start talking about patches, eyelets, aglets, and laces if you'd like.
Okay, let's do it.
He just spoke a foreign language to me.
First, we can look at our patches. You can choose up to 4 and put anywhere on the sneaker. Got a lot of cool options. After that, we can also talk about your grommets or your eyelets. We've got a handful of colors. To top it off, we can look at my lace options. And then we have the aglet, and the aglet is what holds the end of the lace here. I've got 4 colors to choose from, so feel free.
I like that.
That'll look good. That'll look good with the midsole too.
And then you got, and you got to pick your aglet.
Yeah, with the stars on it.
I'm trying to picture it with green laces.
Might be a little too much green.
Because it's kind of like not solid green.
What I tell people, if you're gonna take a chance on your design, take it on the laces. I'm gonna send you home with the stock laces.
Oh. All right, so I'm gonna go green all day.
All right.
With all of our decisions complete, it is now time for the people at Converse to do their thing. This is one of a kind. Beautiful. Are you pleased with your beautiful customization?
I am pleased. Still hot off the press.
Yeah, it is hot off the presses. Well, thank you so much this was actually a really fun experience, and I hope you wear these around Boston proudly because, you know, Patriot Nation love you here, and I think they're going to go a long way with you.
Most definitely. I might put them on right now.
As you should. As you should. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, James. It was a pleasure hanging out with you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, happy I got you a new pair of kicks, my friend.
Yeah, now you got some SweetFeet.
I got some SweetFeet. Oh, yes. All right. This episode of Outside the Fame is brought to you by Mafre Insurance. Made for real life. What matters to you is what we're made for.